Who's coming with me? Get these together. Oh, we'll let the folks come in. Welcome to the live. Love is blind, man. Love is blind. Love is blind. Love is a blindo.
Getting sucked in by
Oh,
high
Lord.
interest debt.
We don't want all that, do we? I should have had a countdown thing. It's all right. I'll be the countdown. I will be my own countdown. Um, let the people arrive. It's crazy being live with one person. Like, if you're just there watching, that's wild. And you laughed. This meeting could have been an email. I can't say I'm try going live at least. That's true. All right, I'll begin. So I just finished the Love is Blind reunion episode. And I'm going to just record this as a live reaction. If folks come in, they come in. If not, I'm really tripping. I want to just start with giving myself the pat on the back of pats on the back. Tim and Ashley walked in and did exactly what I said they would do. Tim and Ashley walked in and they were like, listen, we are hand in hand and we are in love. And nobody's going to tell us otherwise. In my last video, I was like, listen, you got to be prepared. I was like, when we come in and they're holding hands and they're saying they're still together, don't be mad at them. I'm actually really curious if people are mad at them, because I think Tim and Ashley, again, proved that the conversation was really one that wasn't that big a deal to her. It was one that he brought up, and leaving stuff out was for TV purposes. Not only that, they seem really happy, y'all. I can't sit here. I have the screen right here. So when I do this, it's me looking at them, a freeze frame of them saying like they're like holding hands, leaned up against each other. They're saying it's gonna work. But I wanted to start with Tim and Ashley because my word, y'all wouldn't let me not talk about Tim and Ashley. I was like, I kind of don't see what the big deal is. Like, no, do you understand what he said? That he said he had kids and he ain't seen his kids and all these lies. And I'm like, I'm sure those were lies, but also how were they told? They were told like in a way that to me opened the door for a deeper conversation when they might have had then, when they might have had after. But the idea that we would just focus on that was wild. Wild. They're doing it for the flicks. What do you mean by they're doing it for the flicks? I'm interested. Because I guess like if you're saying there's more views by them playing it that way on TV, yes, that's how reality TV goes. Most of these things are being played up. One narrative I really didn't like tonight was the idea that certain people are here for the cameras and certain people aren't. Get the fuck out of town. They're all there for the cameras. On the show I was on, I mean, I would say I was the least there for the cameras, and I was there for cameras. Exactly. Like so like if we assume everybody is there for the cameras, every single person there, and then we assume everybody there is if we take them all at face value, in my opinion, only certain people make it through. They have to like hunt and peck now for old relationships at work. They got AD sitting up here with Marshall. Marshall is an asshole, and AD is his exact opposite because that's north. They are camera people, and that's why they're not sitting up there married. They're sitting back here like us in the in the peanut gallery. Oh Lord. Listen, I've never done one of these before, so I assume people are going to trickle in, or maybe there'll only be like 5 people here the whole time. I don't care. This is what I'm going to cut up and use for the video. So stay as long as you want. This is going to be my source material for the final video. You know how many notes I have, bro? This is crazy. For 1 hour, I mean, this is usually what I get in like 3 or 4 episodes. I started with Ashley and Tyler. I was just so damn right. And if you just got here, yes, I was right. Watch this video. Can't be mad at them. Where do we slide in? Ramses and Marissa. Okay. So a big one. I don't like any part of how that unfolded. And I get exactly why it unfolded the way it unfolded. I kind of knew that people would pile onto Ramsey, but I guess I don't get why it's so visceral, right? There's so many people there who did worse. Like, I guess the idea is like, yeah, if you're not sure at all ever, don't do this at all. Don't do the show at all. But I don't know why. Like, it's just kind of wild that, again, women have the space to kind of like be like, oh, I made a mistake. And like, I don't see still one thing Ramsey did wrong. Now, do I think that would I have done it the same? I don't know. Probably not. But the way everyone's so mad, the way they all gang up on it, it's really interesting because a lot of these things happen when I was on my reality show, right? Like, I posted a video the other day of me on this show. There's a certain point where this deadbeat dad is arguing with the mom. I know it's really convoluted. It's really dumb. And I'm like stepping in to defend the mom because every woman on that show was just attacking her for like pretty much no reason. The reason in my mind being like they were just kind of exposed as being shitty. So their only option was to all pile on this woman. So the clip is me like holding a big bottle of vodka, like making these faces because I'm just like disgusted that all of them would create this narrative just to absolve themselves. And I don't know, it feels like that's a lot of what this reunion was today, whether it be Ramses and Marissa, or it be, and especially Hannah. My word, did anybody feel like Hannah like saved herself today? Like, I know, like, all right, and can I say this? Like, is this a safe space as a man? Like, she's so zemped up. Hannah came looking like like her dream body in her dream dress, and it's just as a goddamn nightmare. I mean, I'm sorry, my word. Hannah, there's an episode of South Park where they they're talking where Lizzo, they call like if you broke Lizzo and if you're rich, you get Ozempic. And they say that there's like Ozempic face, and my word. Hannah, come on, she looks like the South Park character. And I don't like it's not even to judge her looks like that, it's to say like whatever Nick did or didn't do, she's already in that headspace. She believed she was this like goddess and that the world should bend to her will. Tonight, man, what because she tried to convolute it. I'm like, between Nick and Tim, yeah, Nick D and Tim, how many insults did they give out tonight versus they took? Tim even called it out. He's like, what have I done to you? Like, why are you this visceral? I mean, maybe she has that one comment where he said, like, I'm glad I'll never see you again. You called him a bitch. You called him a bitch. Literally 2 nights ago in this exact spot. If you saw my threads, I posted that my homie came through bag. I don't know how monetization works, so I'm not going to explain the bag, but and we were just talking for like 4 hours, getting it in. And at a certain point, he's telling me that his wife and him 15 years, that they really went through it this year. They had to get more honest than ever. And he was like, Rod, you won't believe it. Like, I stopped just like capitulating one day. And I said, like, I said to myself, like, how far would she take this? So I guess the argument, like, she called him like something. She's like, oh, get out of my way or something. He's 6'10", 260. He says she walked like through his chest. And he was like, okay, like, well, I'm still not going to apologize just to see where it would go. I guess like next she turned around and called him a bitch ass nigga, y'all. And he was like, I guess he didn't get mad. He just like went home and wrote it in his notes. Like, my wife is willing to go this far, which I think is crazy. But he was telling me like they went to therapy over the bitch ass nigga comment for like a year. And only in the last like month has it like come full circle where like the therapist had to tell her like 1,000 times, like, if he's not insulting you, don't call him a bitch ass nigga. And she was like, okay, I think I'm getting it. But try again. This is his story, not mine. But I'm watching Tim and he's like, what did you call me? What did you call me? And I'm like, bro, I'm having deja vu from literally last night. 2 nights ago. And my homie had the same look on his face. He's like, Rod, like, I try to be, who? She called me a bitch ass nigga. I'm like, if you call me a bitch ass nigga, like, I know you 20 years, any problems? Like, what do I do? I wrote it down in my notes. But that's kind of like I wrote down that Alex has always been a master class in whatever this show is. And I'll say, like, even more specifically, in my opinion, for Black women, because I think she's dope. And I think my homie's wife, I know I just made it sound like she was a crazy person. She isn't. She's dope. Their kids are amazing. Ray's, I'm talking about his wife and Alex, the congruencies I've seen in really great, loving 2-parent households, but they learn to communicate this negativity like really violently through language. And meanwhile, people like my own brother, opposite side of that coin, raised almost exactly the same, and all of his outbursts are like really violent too. He'll yell, he'll fight, I'm not saying in a romantic relationship, but he doesn't know how to process anger or negative emotion, so it just comes out as like as violent as possible. Alex has learned to process when she feels back in the corner, she's gonna bitch ass nigga her way out. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell people, but that's a problem. Especially if somebody's approaching you with like calm and balance. I don't know. By the way, if you have any questions, again, I know there's only a few people here at a time. Just ask them. I'm ready. Otherwise, I'm gonna just keep going through my notes. I liked when they brought Katie out because both Hannah and Alex kept talking about how direct they are. They're really direct. I'm sorry, I just talk, I just say what I mean what I say, blah blah blah. So Hannah's on this like whole like, no, people just can't stand my directness. One big thing about being people who say that they're just like honest all the time, it's usually outward. They almost never are like, oh man, I like I was late because I was holding in a shit and I like, this happened, this happened, this happened, but I made it. That's like one version of honesty. Another version of honesty is you're riding with that person, and as soon as you walk in, you tell everybody like we're late because that person was taking a shit, and we had to stop, stop, stop. It's outward. Hannah is an outward, honest person, which means she's not an honest person. She just like is an observer. It's the same way like a 3-year-old. You walk them around, they just point at shit like that's a TV. Yeah, you're being quite honest. You saw a TV. Has nothing to do with what's going on inside her body or her mind. So that honesty is immediately checked when Katie shows up because Nick can say, this is where Hannah's like fucked up. Nick can be like, man, I honestly saw that differently. I really didn't like that. And Hannah's going to be like, well, you should have, and you didn't, and fuck you. But then Katie's like, man, I really didn't like that. I saw it differently. Hannah's like, yeah, you know what happened? I don't even remember what I said. I don't even remember. Like, I don't even, oh my God, wow. Wow. Like, it's over. It's fine. And I'm like, where is that energy? How is that just allowed? In fact, I was thinking about it like, I'm trying to think, because every year there's like 2 or 3 dudes who have to do these long apologies. And sometimes I don't agree that they should have apologized. uh, but how many times have we had to like sit there and like like one of these? Now, not like the dope women, because there's way more of them than not. But like, when has a Hannah ever been like cornered to where she has to apologize? Or is there always an off ramp? He said he was unsure about my looks. You were unsure about everything this man looked like from like you threw a temper tantrum when you just thought he talked too good. You were worried about what you looked like going on national TV long beforehand. That's why you came back Ozemped up. Let's keep it real. So how does that work? Hannah just gets a pass? Like, I don't think anyone's really giving Hannah a pass. Right? I don't think anyone watching that was like, oh, Hannah, I believe her. She's a great person. But I hate that the show focuses on that. Like Nick Lachey is like, Hannah, do you have anything else to say? And then like, it's like, Ramses, would you like to apologize? Would you like to take this moment to clear the air on what you did and how you did it? And I'm like, that's Nick. By the way, I mean, this is like one of the few times where you see Vanessa Lachey. God, I don't think I have one more like annual request like around Christmas time more than replace Vanessa Lachey. Like she's fine, but there's so many better hosts. Like I know people on Threads. I know women on Threads right now who would be so much better at this than Vanessa Lachey. Like, is she bringing star power? What do you think? But like when you watch this show, leave a message in the comments. Are you like, damn, Vanessa Lachey? If she wasn't here, this show would falter. It's a banger because of Vanessa Lachey. Does anybody believe that? I don't know. It's just a little wild to me. So they did bring back Brittany and what's his name? Leo. Everybody's acting like Leo's like a good ass dude. I'm not so sure. Uh like I guess he's fine. One thing I learned about being around rich people who kind of suck is there's like a sliding scale. Like the more money you have, the more like the kinda becomes bigger instead of just becoming the word suck. Like you don't just suck when you have money, you like kind of suck. And the more you have, the more you can kind of keep sucking until eventually she's a suck fest. I don't know. I don't feel like Leo, who is an art dealer, I guess. Well, that's not his personality. Like I do art. You're looking at my studio space. I don't know that I would be like, oh, me and this guy should hang out. He gets it. Like I get it. uh and also, yeah, it was very clear that like him and Brittany are very much opposite sides of the same coin. Uh Man, I was calling her Stephanie before and I got confused. But I do think that again, that's not really acknowledged. Like we will acknowledge like the smallest inconsistency in like some dude who I think is trying his best, but like, all right, Leo, you're obviously like a weird, rich weirdo. Brittany, How about your gold digging? No, weren't you just looking? Didn't you say this is exactly what you want? We just don't. We just paper over all that. So again, it makes the reunions kind of weird, right? Like because everyone's trying to like show who like how good they are now, but no one's that good now, right? Um, last, I got to talk about Steven. Steven is a goddamn menace. Steven basically showed up there. What am I trying to say about Steven? Steven showed up there looking like Arsenio Hall. Steven showed up like he got his black card since we last saw him. Like he had like Jerry curl in his hair, I'm pretty sure. Steven, I think, got the biggest pass of this whole thing. They could have came at Steven so much harder. Steven, I think I wrote that he white manned it. Well, let me, where's my notes on Steven? I said Steven's dressed like Arsenio Hall and Obama mix. He's playing the I don't remember these text cards. He's dressed like Steven Jobs. Oh, then he's like, nobody wants to believe me. Nobody, I could do my whole thing. I could do everything, but nobody's going to believe me. So why do it? I wrote down that is peak white. That's the whitest man thing you could do. That's the most gaslighting thing you could do. You know what? The texts, never even read them, deleted them. Oops. And now, if you want me to explain, you're not going to believe me anyway. So that's like literally the whole, like the Trump playbook. That is a Stephen Miller. That is a that's a Democratic press conference where you just like pretend like there's like no need to ever give the answer, right? Like I know women are like real like know this happens to them because I've seen it happen and I've seen women feel it and be like the process of getting gaslit, but. Again, why then does Vanessa and Nick Lachey go in so hard on Tim? And you let Steven, was this like something we need to be sensitive with Steven about? Even Monica was like, yo, you already made this choice. You can't just be private with it now. You made this public. You're on the show. But we all just respect it now. This is what people don't get. Like good liars, they've been working on the lie for a long ass time. And what I try to say is because nothing is black and white, I don't fall for that shit. But if you do think things are black and white, then all a liar has to do is explain things just north of that line. And it's not like you believe it. You just know you don't have any recourse because you've drawn a line. All right. The threshold of proof is here. You're here. God, I'm going to feel weird about this for years, but what can I say? He's got a point. Nah, with liars, you got to push right through that hole. The line is erased, bro. What are you talking about? You erased the messages. You never told anyone who was on the messages. Now you're sitting here dressed like you're about to give a TED talk on black culture. And you're like, well, no one's going to believe me. So, it's on you. I could tell you, but if I did, what would be the point? That's masterclass shit. That's top level masterclass gaslighting. I'm trying to think if anything else happened that was worth me commenting on. I guess Taylor and Garrett being together. I don't get how Garrett, they're like, he's into fashion now, but like, I know he had hair. Okay. I know he had hair. Like he had hair. Him growing his hair out looks like a before and after of like a Rogaine commercial. Like when I see those and like, it looks natural. I'm like, it never that doesn't look natural, but maybe it does because he's got that hair look. But the like yellow shirt and the open yada yadas, it feels like a reach. It feels like he's the one who wrote down like 3 months, be the most famous person on Love is Blind. He's got like Christian Bale in American Psycho energy just off the outfit alone. Just off the way, like, now again, they present people how they present them, but and you're a physicist. And now you show up looking like Fabio talking about, I've always, with his leg crossed, I've always had an interest in fashion. Everyone knows that about me. And I just took, You know, someone else interested in fashion, shut the fuck up, dog. That's wild. That's why I don't buy it. I don't buy it. He got a sponsorship with Shein or something. They're trying to milk that bad boy because it just doesn't make any sense. His brain processes too rigidly for a shirt that free flowing. Whew. Man, all right. I'm approaching 30 minutes. I got to chop this down to like something for tomorrow. I'm gonna give it 30 seconds, a minute, if anyone's here and has any questions or comments or concerns before I get off, because the folks need to get this chopped up. So to know that I was right about Tim and Ashley. No. Yes. What are their names? Tim and Alex. Something and Ashley. You know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ. It's too many names. And again, I did get the bag delivered earlier, so it is what it is. All right, then, fam. No one's got anything to say. I'm going to get the F out of here. I already cursed. Doesn't matter. Peace.